Good morning, friends. Welcome to Gyan channel. The topic for today's discussion is media and rural development. We can also say that the role of media in rural development. So let's begin the class and discussion. Let's first discuss about concept of development. India is a country known for its rural richness. It ranks second in world population with nearly 75% of the population residing in villages. The villages of India are considered as the backbone of the country and have development in its true sense can take place only when even the villages are developed. Due to the growing demands of the population, the agricultural sector is not able to produce enough employment opportunities for all. This has led to an uncertain life as the rural sector had uneven economic growth. The governments of world nations have started to focus their attention on the villages for development. In India, development in rural regions is very important as it occupies a very important position in development context. Indian nation reserves two-thirds of its population in the rural villages and development cannot take place in India if these villages still remain underdeveloped. If the rural part which occupies the major portion of India is not developed, then it would be a real setback in the process of development. India is a country with farming as its main occupation in the countryside, which constitute the major portion of the subcontinent. Farming is the major occupation of India. Even then, the rural sector of the country is not very well developed. They are still extremely backward in their methods of production and the social inequality. For example, when technology was introduced for the farmers to produce better yield and increase the village speed of production, it created a divide among the farmers as those who can afford to use the technology use it and those who cannot afford it were still backward. A recent report by the All India Rural Credit Review Committee has said that if this kind of partial development where one sector of the society goes forward and the major rural sector of the society is still backward, then it might lead to economic tension nationwide, and this tension can further present any process of development. It can prevent any process of development in terms of agricultural production. Therefore, arguments and plans were made to bring out a balance and development. The process of rural development is not an easy task as it sounds. Even with the use of technology, it is still difficult to bring in development in the rural villages. The rural development has to concentrate on the objectives of growth and employment. It also involves lot of planning to be done by coordinating and using the suitable establishments. Hence, the context of development cannot be restricted to any one particular approach. It is an amalgamation of technology, economic factors, environmental factors, which largely depends on the socio-cultural factor of any region. In order to join the mainstream of development, the rural sector should go through these changes in the above mentioned yield so that it can also participate and contribute towards development. The term rural development is used in the context of bringing change in the existing rural estate and bring the development which can improve the present condition of a village. Earlier, the term development only referred to economic development in rural areas. Later, true development in the context of bringing real changes in the lives of the people in terms of political, social, cultural, and also psychological aspects were sought. The term development refers to the maximum usage of human potential to bring the change in the society. Development is a policy which various branches including technology, politics and socio-cultural events that integrate to bring the changes. These entire changes act together to bring out the maximum capability of human beings both physically and mentally. When this development is focused on the rural areas where the non-extinguishable resources of willpower and hard work are used to bring progress in the society, then it is termed as rural development. It should be understood that the rural development is not only objective of helping the poor or the needy, but it is building the capacity of the nation. Rural development means better production of yield, variety of crops, and a high quality output using the available resources and minimum time. It also involves the efficiency of the workers and the machines in order to achieve such a development. Factors like education, training, research and development, reaching out and information are all mandatory. Rural development is not a term commonly used in developing countries alone, it is also used in developed countries too, though it doesn't have a clear common definition of the term. It is used in different contexts in different places. Even when the core idea of rural development still remains the same, it is enhancing the life of the rural people. When development is viewed in this sense, then it involves the collective development or advancement in the field of agriculture, arts and crafts, infrastructure, and above all, better human resources. When the rural areas are able to see change in these areas, then it can be termed as true development. Such a development is possible only with the amalgamation of science and technology with socio-cultural elements. Institutional factors also play a major role in development. Hence, the government bodies often plan the strategy of developing the lifestyle of the people in the rural sector. As Robert Chambers puts it, rural development is a strategy to enable people in the rural areas to get more and of what they want and need for themselves and their children. So, rural development aims to develop the life of the poorest in the rural region and make them also to enjoy the benefits of their resources. The poor people in the rural areas are people who work for the big and landlords. The small scale farmers also cultivate in their land on their own, and the other people who do not even own any land. Thus, the true definition of rural development may be termed as the development of the natural and human resources, science and technology, along with institutions and organizations of health and education, and the government policies and programs which act as catalysts for the improvement in the above mentioned areas. In this context, it should also facilitate job and enhance the quality of everyone in the rural region, irrespective of whether they are landlords or landless laborers. The most difficult challenge to bring the development in the rural region are the traditions and customs that they follow. This is something that has been passed on from generation to generation without questioning. While in some cases it is really helpful, it is always necessary to accept some changes in these customs, which is quite difficult for the people in the rural region as they feel that these customs are close, their heart and deviating from them would lead to something really serious. Hence, the development communicators who are involved in rural development programs must make sure that the sentiments and the culture of the rural regions are not affected much. The changes has to be injected in their minds slowly without altering or tampering or creating any permanent damage to the basic culture that is followed in these regions. Apart from changes in economic growth and change in culture and tradition, will be viewed or seriously by the people of the rural region. So in some places where the custom and traditions has to be changed or altered a little, then the task of convincing the large mass of rural people to accept and adapt to the new technology or new tradition becomes a challenging task. Successful rural development involves a good motivation which can pull along and the other factors of science and technology, health and education, and socio-cultural development all together to reach the ultimate development. However, there are no suggestions or instructions to be followed to achieve this development as it is all a matter of time and chance. The cultural aspects do play a major role in the process of development in rural regions. Many popular economists have turned their attention towards rural development as it was very challenging and essential. They followed the Western methods of development in the rural regions, which involved changes in the social and cultural framework, and their attention was focused mainly to the problems that were static in nature. One major influence of these economists to adopt to the European model of development was because of the Second World War, which completely eroded the Asian and African countries. So the developed nations felt that economic growth in the country is possible through them. The definition of economy itself varies in context among the different economists. Some believe that the wealth of a nation is termed as economy, while some others believe that the rise in per capita income in the country is termed as true economic development. Either these ideas or definitions is not the true meaning of development, as they both lack the human welfare development. With such contradicting definitions of economic development amongst the economists exist, it is also difficult to define what rural development is. We can only conclude that the meaning or definition of economic development is versatile in nature. In general, rural development is nothing but bringing better change in the rural areas by extending the facilities available in the cities to the rural regions. Along with that, the changes that are needed to enhance the quality of better production of crops and better livelihood of people are also termed as development. This includes providing better irrigation facility, uninterrupted power supply, better production of crops with high quality, improved quality in cultivation, and most importantly, giving good education and health facility to all. When we look deep at the above mentioned aims of rural development, it can be understood that these aims are quite narrow and only focused on development of the region. Of course, agriculture is an essential part of rural development, but it cannot be stated that improving agricultural or only growth in terms of agriculture are termed as real growth. Professor VKRB saw human development as the essential part of the development of a region. In this context, the focus was more on the human values through which human rights and human dignity can be attained. He also felt that along with agricultural development, the non agricultural sectors and the socio cultural growth are also important to attain true development. He felt that only such a change can bring in human development, which is the key factor of rural development. The development in other sectors which are non agricultural can help in minimizing the problems of unemployment and poverty and hence contribute to development. The beauty of bringing in rural development by making the rural people understand the importance of their own self is itself an art. Real growth can happen when the people of the rural regions are given their basic needs without tempering their psychological and cultural needs to make them productive and enlightened. Increase in productivity and reduction in poverty must be the main aim of rural development. When the basic living conditions of the rural people are fulfilled, where they get enough to eat healthy and also get good education to understand the technology of the future and even to understand their own surrounding so that they can reason out their own action and change the better socio-cultural ideas, then it will increase the quality of their lives, which in turn bring development to the rural regions. This growth will definitely contribute a lot towards the national economy. Now let's discuss about the tools of rural development. According to the Indian census, a rural area is defined as a place where at least three-fourths of the male production engage in agricultural activity. It further defines that if the population density of a place is less than 400 per square meter with no municipality or board, then it is defined as a rural area. India has nearly 6.4 lakh villages. Out of these villages, only 20,000 villages have populations more than 5,000. Most of the fast moving consumer good companies will define any place with more than 20,000 population as rural, whereas the towns with less than 50,000 population are considered to be rural by more of the durable and agri input companies. The major challenges of the companies when they address a rural market is that of making them understand the usage of the product. They find it difficult to deal with their understanding of the product and hence it also is difficult to reaching them. Extending their services in the remote places is also quite challenging for these companies as they are in very remote places from the production and distribution centers. Moreover, the heterogeneity of the audience also makes it difficult to make them understand any product. With all these challenges, the companies rather find it easy to ignore this small market than to make efforts to reach them. This is why most of the companies has failed to reach on the easy ways of reaching the rural market and find out their need from the companies. They haven't put effort to spend money or time in understanding their habits and serving their needs. The corporate marketing giants have failed to get knowledge about their customers in rural markets by completely ignoring them. So, if the corporate companies are not going to reach the rural mass, then how are they going to know about the products available in the market? They get knowledge about the products available in the market through the media. Here, media takes the key role in disseminating information about the products. The rural market sustains only by the media habits of the rural customers. When we say that the rural market is sustained by the media usage of rural customers, the next interesting question which comes in mind is what is the type of media that rural customers commonly use? For which type of media facilitates their easy understanding? It is found that most of the rural customers have low literacy level. Hence, the easy understanding of media preferred by them is the audio visual medium like the television and radio. Films too have the important role in the rural setup because films are an easy way to reach the rural mass. They can easily take any message to rural population when they are delivered in the local dialect. Since it is a visual medium, it gets registered in the mind of the audience very easily. Hence, these visual media like the television and the films are easy way of reaching the rural mass. So the corporate companies find these radio, audio visual media as a better and easy tool through which they can reach the rural customers. Though the mass media is a good way to reach the rural market, when we look at the level of reach and the impact of effectiveness it creates, it can be said that it is not effective as compared to the urban masses. The reason for less impact of the effectiveness in rural areas when compared to the urban mass is due to the inability to give uninterrupted power supply or at least continuous power supply for few hours to the rural regions. The diversity of dialect and language spoken by the different rural regions, etc. So, what is the easiest way to reach them at the time that they can be made use of? The success of reaching the rural customers lies therefore in proper understanding of their culture and introducing the product for the messages product or the messages which do not tamper to or alter their beliefs and hopes to a large extent. It is also necessary to understand the fears and beliefs about the various product segments available in the market and give them a hope. The message that is intended for the rural audience should contain all these packages along with the product. So, gentlemen, we come with the end of this discussion. Now, thank you